Greetings, YouTube and Gotham. This is the Scarecrow signing in for the first time this year in my new lair. I've noticed that the Joker has been beside himself a lot lately, due to the sudden departure of his Stockholm-afflicted sidekick Harley Quinn. As easily swayable as the poor girl may be, it becomes quite taxing hearing about the Joker go on about it in Arkham whenever Batman captures us again. As such, being the insurmountably brilliant therapist and psychiatrist that I am, I will relay my words of wisdom and helpful advice to Arkham's favorite clown just in time for Valentines Day, so maybe I can eat my lunch in peace for once during lunch hour. Step 1 is analyzing the fears of your enemy. Now the red-headed hussy, I believe she was called, as any who know her can say, is immune to a lot of things, such as manly charms and poisons. This makes sweet-talking or direct assassination by males quite difficult. Poisons she is immune to, making it completely impossible to do something like put cyanide in her food or blast her in the face with any kind of toxin. And then there's her pheromones, which makes it quite difficult to send any assassins to do the job. And inspirational speeches from her tend to make it impossible to send women to do the job as well. Now, the key to beating her then is to analyze her fears. Now, let's think for a moment. What would a green-thumbed eco-terrorist who spends her time hugging trees and fawning over ferns be afraid of? Most likely, anything that may harm her precious plants. Step 2. Using your enemy's fears. So you've established what Pammy fears the most. So, the fears are harm coming to her plant life. This, however, will involve direct confrontation, but also a leverage that will keep her at a distance. First, I advise the use of a machete, or, if a machete is unavailable to you, I found a good old pair of shears is always a good choice and alternative. Now, how would you use these shears? Well, I recommend simply grabbing the nearest flower you can find, and then slicing it. She'll start screaming like a baby. After all, it worked for Batman, didn't it? And then, of course, there's the other alternative if all else fails. Just update her on the state of the world. It would seem that the Republicans have all but won the dispute on global warming, meaning that there will likely be a significant spike in the lack of human consciousness towards the environment, which I'm sure is bound to leave her most distraught and possibly demoralized. Oh yes, and speaking of warning, there's also fire. Now there's the threat. The threat of one of her precious greenhouses, for instance, being burned to the ground is bound to sway her to your will that if she doesn't stay away from your girl, then, well, you can't stay away from incinerating all of her green babies. Step 3. Instill the fear. So you've managed to terrify her. Now, you'll have to make sure she stays that way, or else she might come after Harley again, right? Well, that's why you simply keep the threats fresh. You also may wish to do something along the lines of checking in with DC Comics to ensure that bad writing doesn't take her away from you again, and possibly figure out why characters like Damian Wayne are allowed to continue to exist. Step 4. Clear the field with fear. Now, as I've mentioned, Harley is easily swayable, and in addition to one threat, there will always be another. The other most prominent threat I can think of is the island of Themyscira. It's a place where I understand they're isolated women warriors who have this annoying tendency to empower and inspire women into not obeying whoever they're with. This can become a problem when you are hiring henchwenches out to do any sort of deed for you. She might decide she's better than you, or she may just kick you in between the legs whenever you decide to dish out an order. Now, what to do about that, in case Harley decides to go back, like she did in Countdown? I would say the best choice of action would be to bomb the island with some sort of toxin bomb. That way, they either go out with a smile, or if I get there first, a scream. Now we come to our final step, correcting the problem. Ask yourself, why did Harley leave you? This should be the greatest concern, after all. She left for a reason, right? And it must be fixed immediately to ensure that it never happens again. The proper way to handle this is, of course, through fear. Harley must remain terrified to leave you, otherwise she might develop the idea of walking all over you and actually listening to Pamela more than usual. And what Gotham rogue wants that on their resume, after all? That, however, is best left in your creative hands, knowing that you know her a lot more than I do. I suppose a few threats that her red-headed kidnapper will die slowly and horribly if she ever comes near her again can certainly work out best. Well, I hope you found this psychological appointment very informative, Joker, and I will ensure that your Valentine's Day is filled with smiles that you become so keen on if you take the advice. Well, until next time, YouTube, this is the Scarecrow. Well, I hope you found this video very informative. Anyone else who might need any kind of psychological appointment, do set one up with Professor Jonathan Crane right away, and I'll see what I can do to assist you in whatever dilemma you may be facing. Until next time, this is Professor Crane, signing off.